Is that how you serve the Lord? You
Make you regret it. And keep that bucket next to you.
make it worse. Don't make it worse. Help it, come on.
Someone at the window!
Lena works as a flight attendant, and her latest trip takes her to Chile. After landing, she and the rest of the crew hop into a van, but their ride is cut short when they hit a roadblock. The streets are packed with demonstrators protesting against inflation and food shortages. Amid the chaos, Lena spots Daniel, her long-distance boyfriend. She wasn't planning on telling him she was coming. It was supposed to be a surprise. She jumps out of the van and calls out to him. He notices her, walks over, and they share a kiss.
If you want to hide anything,
He's shocked but thrilled to see her. They leave together and head to his place. At his apartment, Lena takes in the sight of his walls covered in posters and photos. She jokes about how busy he's been, and Daniel grins, saying he didn't come to Chile just to sit around.
I didn't come to Chile for nothing.
Teasing him, she playfully declares that he's passed the home inspection. Later that evening, Daniel takes Lena to a gathering where he's involved with a movement.
Daniel, come!
He steps onto the stage and delivers a speech, talking about how Chile has become his home over the last 4 months. He passionately speaks about the need for unity and how the struggles of the majority shouldn't serve as a foundation for the wealth of the few.
I came to Chile around 4 months.
The crowd erupts in cheers. The next morning, Daniel is making breakfast, completely forgetting he's not wearing pants. Lena laughs, grabs his camera, and starts snapping photos of him. He chases after her, telling her he loves her. They kiss, enjoying the lighthearted moment. Later, while he's developing the pictures, Lena compliments his skill, noting how much he's improved. The following morning, Daniel receives a phone call that changes everything. A friend warns him that a military coup has taken place. General Pinochet has seized power. Supporters of President Allende are being arrested, and Daniel's posters at the university have been confiscated. Soldiers are on their way to his apartment. They need to run immediately. Out in the streets, chaos unfolds. People are being rounded up by the military. Suddenly, a gunshot rings out, sending people scattering. Soldiers chase them down, beating anyone in their path. Despite the danger, Daniel keeps taking photos. But he gets too close. They notice him. Within moments, the soldiers grab him, seize his camera, and beat him. Lena tries to intervene, but she's powerless against them. They're taken to a stadium packed with detainees. Daniel insists they are foreign citizens, but the soldiers ignore him. A brutal punch to his stomach silences any further protests,
Will soon be released.
and they're ordered to stay in line and keep quiet. A general steps forward, addressing the frightened crowd. He announces that law and order are being restored and that anyone innocent will soon be released. A helicopter lands in the middle of the stadium. A hooded man steps out alongside a general. His task is simple: identify Allende supporters. The first man he points out is led away. The second protests his innocence but is shot on the spot. The hooded man walks past Daniel, but then he stops. He recognizes him. He identifies Daniel as the one responsible for the posters. Without hesitation, soldiers grab him and load him onto a bus. Lena watches helplessly as he's taken away. She, however, is released. Lena rushes back to Daniel's apartment, only to find it completely ransacked. Desperate for answers, she seeks out Allende supporters.
We can't do anything for Daniel.
They tell her the grim truth. Daniel has been sent to a place called the Colony of Dignity. When she insists they help her get him back, they tell her it's impossible. They are going into hiding. Meanwhile, Daniel regains consciousness, tied to a metal bed. A man walks in and begins interrogating him. Daniel insists he's just a German citizen and hasn't done anything wrong. His pleas fall on deaf ears. The interrogation turns into torture. He's electrocuted, beaten, and brutalized by soldiers. Eventually, a man named Pius arrives, presenting himself as a compassionate figure.
No, it's okay.
He tells Daniel he's safe now, that there's nothing to fear anymore. Determined to find him, Lena goes to Amnesty International, an organization dedicated to fighting human rights abuses.
Allegedly a charitable mission.
The man she speaks with initially downplays her concerns, calling the Colony of Dignity a respected and government-approved institution.
In Germany, after the war, came here with his disciples.
But then he signals for her to be quiet. He plays loud music to mask their conversation and finally gives her the real story. Daniel is trapped in a cult run by Pius, a fugitive who fled Germany after World War II and has built his own twisted world in isolation.
Disciples to set up a world according.
Lena asks if there's a way inside. She's warned that if she enters, she might never come back out, but she refuses to back down. She writes a note to the pilot, telling him to cover for her and that she won't be on the flight back this week.
Lena's not coming.
Disguising herself as a nun, she boards a bus heading south. When she gets off, the driver tells her to keep walking toward the mountains. She follows the path. She reaches the gate, and a small hatch slides open. A woman inside says, "God bless." Lena echoes the phrase, and the gate creaks open.
Come.
A senior cult member named Gisela welcomes her. Gisela leads her to a building and asks if she wishes to join their community.
God bless.
God bless.
Lena nods, claiming she wants to dedicate herself to God. Without hesitation, Gisela confiscates her passport and belongings, throwing them into a box. She won't be needing them anymore. As Lena settles in, she notices a boy leaving another room, tears streaming down his face. Concerned, she asks if he's okay, but before he can respond, Gisela appears, warning her to mind her own business. A woman drags the boy away, scolding him for crying. Gisela then informs Lena that she must now go through her first step in the community, confession.
Who am I?
Inside the confession room, Lena meets Pius. He studies her carefully, then questions her intentions.
What's your name?
She assures him she wants to serve God, but he sees through her lie. He orders her to remove her apron and unbutton her blouse.
The Good Shepherd.
When she complies, he sneers, calling her outwardly modest but sinful beneath. He moves closer, inhaling deeply, declaring that he can smell the beast of hell on her. He begins interrogating her aggressively. Does she renounce Satan, the sins of the flesh, lies and deceit? Lena plays along, telling him she has come for him, that she needs him. Pius believes he has broken her and embraces her. Gisela explains the rules. Men, women, and children live separately for the good of all. She takes Lena to the women's dormitory, instructing her to bind her chest and remove her shoes to avoid looking provocative. When the other women return from work, Lena greets them, but they ignore her. Only one, Doro, sneaks a conversation, giggling as she reveals she might be getting married soon. Lena is confused. How can that be when men and women live apart? Before she can ask, Gisela interrupts, handing out mysterious pills. The next morning, Daniel is examined by a doctor who is disturbed by the extent of his injuries. She believes the electric shocks may have caused brain damage. Pius, however, simply remarks that everyone has a purpose. Lena, now working in the fields, grows dizzy and collapses. Gisela immediately punishes her, whipping her and calling her a lazy slut. When Lena asks for water, Gisela gives her a bucket but forbids her from drinking it. She must carry it instead. That night, Lena silently cries herself to sleep. A whole week drifts by, and suddenly there's a shuffle in the schedule. Every woman is sent to the women's hall. Lena seizes the moment to ask Doro about her mysterious fiancé. Turns out, she barely knows him. They met once years ago at some mixed parade and have been hopelessly in love ever since. Meanwhile, Pius is spewing his usual religious nonsense, and the men eat up every word, cheering like he's a rock star. The guy's on some bizarre mission to bring a dead man back to life. The women in the next room are supposed to be channeling energy or something. Then, out of nowhere, some guy steps up to the mic and announces that God spoke through Pius, but their prayers didn't work because the community is drowning in sin. Cue dramatic wailing. Another month crawls by. Daniel, still pretending to be a dim-witted guy named Hans, is assigned to work with the blacksmith. The doctor assures the blacksmith that Hans is as dumb as a rock, so he just needs to be supervised. Given a pointless task, Daniel plays along until he gets a chance to snoop around. He stumbles upon a dark room and finds a camera, but gets caught. Thinking fast, he acts confused and says he just needs to pee. Elsewhere, Gisela pulls Lena aside for a chat about marriage. Assuming everyone already knows, Lena casually mentions that the groom's name is Dieter. That night, Gisela barges in, dragging a crying Doro away. The door is left unlocked, so Lena sneaks after them. Peeking through a window, she sees all the men gathered, with a terrified Doro standing near a kid who's singing nervously. Pius, always the drama king, suddenly sniffs the air and declares that the stench of evil still lingers. He demands Dieter's opinion on his disgusting, foul-smelling cow of a bride. Dieter hesitates, but ultimately agrees. Then comes the horror. Pius insists they must beat the demons out of her. Doro begs, but Pius just smiles and says, "What we do with love." The first punch lands, the men roar in approval, and soon they all join in. Amidst the chaos, Lena spots Daniel in the crowd. Panicked, she flees, but someone notices her. Unable to figure out who, Pius vents his rage by savagely beating Gisela for leaving the door unlocked. The next day, Lena corners Ursel to check on Doro. She'll survive, Ursel mutters. Determined, Lena asks how she can get herself sent to the men's gathering. When Gisela gets distracted in the fields, Lena ditches her work and sneaks off for a swim. Later, her sinful actions get her exactly what she wanted, an invitation to the men's gathering. But Daniel is nowhere in sight. Pius rants about how deceitful women are and how they need to be cleansed. Just as things take a dark turn, a loud siren blares. Daniel has triggered the alarm while trying to escape. He reaches the fence, but the electrified wires knock him out. The guards find him, but don't punish him. They still think he's brain damaged from the torture and simply wandered off. 3 months drag on. Pius visits the boys' dorm, where they serenade him like he's some kind of king. He picks a few for his private shower session. Then it's time for another mixed parade. Everyone's ordered to put on fake smiles, wave their flags, and act normal. As cars pass through, Daniel and Lena finally spot each other after 130 days in the same hellhole. They plan to meet at the potato shed that night. Meanwhile, Pius is making shady deals, selling weapons and torture services to the government, which turns a blind eye in return. Now, the general wants to buy their poison gas, but insists on a test first. Pius decides Daniel will be the test subject. That night, Daniel volunteers for guard duty and sneaks off to meet Lena. She tells him she joined the cult just to find him. He explains that they don't see him as a threat, so he's free to roam. Pius allows the men and women to meet only for breeding, but babies are taken away at 3 months, so they never know their parents. While talking, Daniel steps on a hatch, discovering a tunnel beneath them. He climbs down while Lena is called away for her shift. Exploring, he stumbles upon the torture room, triggering awful flashbacks. Enraged, he smashes the equipment. The next morning, Lena is summoned by Pius. He rants about how women with intelligence are dangerous and orders her to spy on Ursel. Knowing Ursel despises this place, Lena gains her trust. Ursel reveals she was brought here as a child by her own mother, Gisela. Meanwhile, Daniel undergoes a medical exam, drooling and parroting random words to keep up his act. As he leaves, he drops a cross necklace. Later, Ursel finds the hidden photo inside, proof of his past life. Daniel also discovers a tunnel blocked by steel bars, suspecting it's the way out. They must escape tonight, as he's scheduled to be poisoned tomorrow. He has taken pictures of the tunnels, determined to expose everything. Lena reminds him that taking pictures got them into this mess in the first place. Gisela shows up, so Daniel ducks back into the tunnels, accidentally dropping a photo. Lena hides it under a bucket. When Gisela leaves, Lena and Ursel realize they were both told to spy on each other. Lena asks why Pius does all this. Ursel believes he craves power in little boys. Ursel confesses she's pregnant. Before Lena can process this, Gisela finds a photo. Pius interrogates Lena, but Daniel suddenly appears, pretending to have discovered the photo himself. He leads them to the blacksmith's darkroom, where they find all the incriminating pictures. Blaming the blacksmith, Pius lets Lena go. Outside, Daniel hides in the shadows. Lena seizes the moment, knocking Gisela out and running. By now, Pius is caught on. Chaos erupts. Lena and Daniel sprint to the tunnels, cutting the lock. They escape, but Ursel triggers a tripwire and is shot dead. Devastated, they flee, eventually reaching the German embassy, where they present their photos. The officials give them passports, but say their flight is a week away. Desperate, Lena calls her pilot friend, securing 2 seats on a flight that day. A suspicious embassy worker makes a call. Soon, 2 diplomats sneak them into the airport through a hidden entrance, locking them in a room. Realizing they've been betrayed, they escape through a window, hijack a baggage cart, and race to the plane. Pius pulls strings to revoke the flight's clearance. The pilot hesitates, then, in an act of defiance, takes off anyway. They make it out of Chile. The leaked photos spark global outrage, but the Chilean government does nothing. The colony of dignity continues operating for another 17 years until Pinochet is overthrown and democracy returns to Chile. The end. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe for more stories.